Good evening, race fans. Welcome to tonight's FEG PC Cup Series doubleheader, brought to you live at Charlotte Motor Speedway. We're going to be starting off here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, then roll straight into Daytona for a back-to-back action race here at the FEG PC Racing League. Going to be a good time as these drivers make their way around the Cup cars, trying to keep it clean all the time. My name's James East with the Team Goon Squad Network. Thank you for watching here on YouTube. Currently pushing out 1080p and expecting to have a great evening here. Qualifying is underway. Looks like so far only Lothar and Doobie have put down lap times. Looking to James Kaufman, he's out on track right now. And the number 11 machine, he's going to make his way around, see if he can put down a blistering fast lap time here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. You're going to see these drivers, for the most part, running the high line as high as they comfortably can in qualifying before they drop down low and put down their flyer lap time. Now tonight, tie wear is definitely going to be a factor. Charlotte Motor Speedway has been shown to eat up tires, especially as we saw at the Coca-Cola 600 a lot of these racers ran. Tonight, the guys in their next-gen Cup cars are limited to 65% fuel and 2 tire sets. So normally they take the top 42 plus 1 random. I don't think it's going to be a problem. There's about 12, 13 racers out here tonight, so not quite the full field we're looking for, but this is a new series with FEG PC, guys. So if you're looking for a next-gen Cup to run, they've got great racers here. A lot of talent, a lot of fun, so it's not too late to get in. If you only miss 1 round, you're going to still be able to stay in there and stay in it to win it. So again, check out FEGPC.net. You can get in on the action yourself. James Kaufman makes his way up to 4th place of this qualifying run. He gets down to a 30.27 last time by. Matthew Lee, though, looks like he's going to be our provisional pole setter. Lee puts down a 29.81. He's going to edge out William Lothar, put down a 29.93. Derek Fulton hits the board with a 29.93. So a lot of guys running very similar paces out here. We've got Matthew Curry out there. He's the number 51 machine. A lot of drivers not quite used to how this is going to work yet. The Next Gen Cup cars are fairly new for everybody, so guys are still getting it figured out, kind of seeing what they can get away with, what they like, what they don't like. From my perspective, it seems like a really enjoyable car to drive. The draft package is really nice. You can really reel in people if you catch a tow. And for the most part, pretty stable, pretty easy to drive. Matthew Curry, he's going to put himself in 2nd place with a 29.85. Jose Medina's out there right now. His last time I was at 30.08. So not quite enough for the provisional pole for him. But I think we're going to go to race time here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. All right, sitting on top of the board, that's going to be Matthew Lee sitting 2nd, Matthew Curry. Christopher Mckeithen will be starting 3rd, Derek Fulton 4th. William Lothar will be 5th, followed by Joshua Doobie in 6th. Got Stephen Page starting 7th, followed by Jay Dargert in 8th. Jose Medina will be starting 9th tonight. James Kaufman will be 10th. You've got Donald Stewart starting 11th, Chad Ross 12th. And bringing home the back of the pack, that's going to be Kenneth McCullough Jr. starting 13th tonight. So as these drivers get ready to take the field, you should be seeing these guys go as far as they possibly can on fuel before they come in for tires. We're going to hope to see some green flag pit stops tonight, maybe shake up the race a bit, but last thing we want tonight from our racers is a caution fest, so really rooting for our guys out there to keep it clean. Looking forward to a lot of good racing. This Charlotte Motor Speedway, it's a mile and a half, or what they call a cookie cutter. You can see a lot of passes on the coming out of 2 as drivers get good drafts on each other going into 3 and 4. Towards the end, you'll see some good bumping and grinding going around the tri-oval here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, but not a place you're going to see a lot of passes unless it's kind of do or die moment. Drivers trying to get position, maybe trying to get ahead for the pit cycle, or as we all know, towards that last lap, guys are going to be a little bit less friendly and trying to make moves happen. As our drivers take their warm-up lap behind the iRacing pace car, it's going to be Matthew Lee and Matthew Curry are going to be setting the pace here. They're going to be the first ones off the line. You've got both drivers willing to hammer down here, so I'm expecting to see probably a good launch from Lee, if not Curry. One of those drivers is going to, it's going to be Curry is going to probably try and drop down as quick as he can and get formed up single file. Not sure if we're going to expect to see these drivers going 2 by 2 early on in the race, or if they're willing to just kind of settle in and click off some laps where they fall. Pace car is in. A little bit of bump, a little bit of grinding. It looks like Curry stacked the field up just a little bit. No, excuse me, Lee stacked the field up before getting a spectacular launch. Not sure how that's going to come into play with the iRacing black flag. Lee gets a spectacular launch. Curry gets shuffled back from second. And Christopher Mckeithen moves up to second so far. Take a look at William Lothar, Matthew Carey. They're going to go side by side around the back of Charlotte. Coming out of 4 through the trial with the 47 machine, William Lothar. We've seen all season long in the different leagues here offered by the FEG PC guys. He's a really good runner, usually one of our fastest Canadians, but he's got Jared Cole from the agency right behind him. These guys are not willing to get sorted out quite yet as they go 3 wide down the back straight. You've got Jay Dargett, he's in the 57 machine. He's moving up, trying to make something happen here. Trying to eke out a little bit of track spot. Try and put himself in a little bit better place. Look at that. I believe that's Lothar using every bit of the racetrack. No, excuse me, that's Fulton using every bit of the racetrack. Yeah, Fulton gets a little bit sideways around that tri-oval, gets the car a little unhappy, and then kind of starts dropping back to a few spots. Fulton currently down 4 spots. He's down into 8th place. Really good tight racing here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Look at Christopher Mckeithen. He's running second right now, getting the draft right back up to Matthew Lee, but right behind Mckeithen, you've got Curry, Dargett, Lothar, 3 really fast guys that know how to put it up on the top box if they don't have any problems. So, curious to see how this is going to shake out. Now, being a new series that FEGPC is putting on, I believe this is the opening round, so everybody's got the same amount of points, which is a whopping 0. So if these guys can have a strong finish in the top 3 before the field starts to fill up, it's going to put them in much better position to get that grand prize at the end of the season. We see the 57, Jay Dargett. He's trying to make a move on, I believe that is Curry. He gets around Curry on the timing strip. But Curry does have the preferred line down there low here at Charlotte Speedway. A little bit more 2x2 action. You see William Lothar moving up past Jay Dargett. They're going back and forth. And then Joshua Doobie, he wants a piece of it. He's currently following William Lothar, trying to get a little bit of draft help going in there. But so far, these guys being pretty respectable, pretty smart with their passes so far. So that's what we like to see. Right now, it's been Matthew Lee uncontested up front. Mckeithen still behind him, not within striking distance, but Walt Lothar trying to get a little bit more speed. He's reeling up to Matthew Curry. Not sure if we're going to see a move from here in the next couple laps or not. He might be happy sitting there. And a few of these drivers may be thinking about tire wear, or they might have thrown it out the window and are just charging as hard as they possibly can. We got more side-by-side action. Derek Fulton, the number 7 machine is what it shows on that truck. He's chasing down Joshua Doobie in the number 9. 57 Jay Dark gets a little bit high. Not sure if he got spooked by Doobie or what might have happened, but he loses a big drive. Fulton starts to reel him in rapidly. Of it right now. You can see the field split up 2 by 2 just a little bit. You've got Curry running the high line. You've got Mckeithen running the high line. Looks like the low line is a little bit faster right now, but it may be having a little bit more wear on the tire as well. So as we approach lap 15 to 20 or so, you can see these guys starting to push out the track a little bit more on exit, as hard and fast as they are. Everybody's trying to make something happen here. Joshua Doobie on the low line has no draft support. He gets behind Lothar. Lothar's getting edged out by Darger going around the track right there. And then Derek Fulton getting back in the mix as well on that number 7 machine. Great looking paint scheme tonight by Fulton. They're 2 by 2 here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. A great race forming up between William Lothar. As we say that, we see Doobie going low, trying something a little bit different, it looks like. But it's been Lothar and Darger battling for position back and forth. Lothar gets spun. Oh man, you hate to see that for Lothar. He's been riding so good. Let's see if we can get that on our replay here. So Lothar just gets spun by the number 7 machine. Joshua Doobie has nowhere to go to stay out of that. So you hate to see that for Lothar. He's been running so good tonight. And just something silly like that kind of takes him out of it early on. So up front, it's still Matthew Lee, Matthew Curry, Christopher Mckeithen, all running that top 3. Pretty much running exactly where they started tonight. See if these drivers decide to take tires early on in this race, if 4 tires is worth it for the guys, or if they're going to stay out one go. Let's see what they decide on. So far, it looks like the guys are going to stay out here at Charlotte. Nobody's coming in for tires that I've seen. Oh, I take it back. Matthew Lee, Matthew Curry, the only 2 drivers that stay out. The rest of the field leaves the leaders to dry as everyone else comes into pit lane. We're going to see if these guys are taking 4 tires, just a splash of fuel, what the strategy might be here. Looks like drivers coming in mostly for fuel. You've got Christopher Mckeithen with a 5.38 second pit stop. Derek Fulton a little bit under 6 seconds. Jose Medina with a 6-second pit stop. So not seeing many drivers that stayed in just for tires. Possibly Jay Darger, Joshua Doobie, Stephen Page may have taken 4 tires. That's what we like to see here. It kind of mixes up the strategy, makes it a little bit more exciting for everybody. Less cookie cutter, know exactly what your teammates and friends are going to do, a little bit more More to gamble, I should say. So we get about 1/10 of the way through here tonight. We hit our first caution pretty early on in the evening. Now you're going to see Matthew Lee coming in. He might take 4. Nah, he decides against it. Lee thinking the track position's probably going to be worth it for him. He's going to stay out. Curry stays out. So that's our top 2. They're on about 12 or 13 lap old tires at this point. Going to be interesting to see if they have the speed to maintain the pace at this point, or if they're going to get kind of run over the pack behind them. We know Mckeithen's been pretty quick this evening, and now he's got fresh tires. At the very least, he's got fuel to run out towards the end. So always love seeing those different strategies that develop around these motor speedways. Charlotte's a really fun track to drive. 1.5 miles. It doesn't look that hard, but as the run develops, it gets much tougher. You have to back up your entries, your let-off points a lot more, but as the tires start to cook off. But these next-gen Cup cars are just so good. You can drive so hard and so fast for so long without having a whole lot of problems. Pace car is going to lead them by one more time. We're going to get ready to go racing here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. The iRacing pace car is in. All eyes on Matthew Lee. He's going to go as quickly as he possibly can. Matthew Curry doesn't get the launch he wanted. Lee with a massive launch. He wants nothing to do with the drivers behind him at this point, but Christopher Mckeithen's got great pace. He's already around Matthew Curry early on in the stint. Matthew Curry still looking down low, see if he can make something going into 3 here. He does. He makes it second, the number 6 machine, Mckeithen. Mckeithen, though, we know he's got at least more fuel now. He may have taken right side tires this early on in the stage, which will help him out a little bit as the run develops. And we've got a yellow flag and carnage around the start-finish line straight. We've got Kenneth McCullough Jr., Stephen Page, Joshua Doobie all involved. See if we can get the replay on that one. That doesn't look good already. Let's see if we can tighten up that camera angle. So you're currently watching Kenneth McCullough Jr. So it looks like the 9 just hooks the number 1 machine and then absolute carnage. So that's going to be Stephen Page that gets hooked and is involved with the initial crash, and everybody behind him just nowhere to go. So let's see if we can get Stephen Page's crash now on the slow motion replay. So yeah, Page just gets hooked by the number 9 machine. That's going to be Joshua Doobie that spins Page around. The number 78, Donald Stewart, nowhere to go. And then poor Page goes on a spectacular ride. Round and around he goes, all over the number 2 machine. Just carnage here this early on at Charlotte Motor Speedway. So Doobie's going to be out. I believe he may be done for the night. Page is 2 laps down. He's in the pits right now trying to get it sorted. See if he can get back out there. All of these guys fighting for points. It's not just a one-race shootout. I mean, granted, it is a doubleheader tonight, so twice the opportunity to get a little bit of points, but it's a season here at FEG PC. It's not just a one-and-done deal, so these drivers are going to be in it for the long term. Spectacular crash this early on. It's only 20 laps in here so far, so these guys have a long way to go. And these guys are going to be with each other all season long. They don't want to make any enemies this early on in the season. It's too early for any shenanigans. So going to be interested here in the broadcast booth what the drivers' opinions are so far. So Lee's had a pretty dominant performance, has not come in yet. That's definitely something to note. Lee and Curry still on the original set of tires here, which is definitely interesting. Granted, they've only got about 15, 16 hard laps on the tires so far. Haven't had a lot of green flag runs to really wear those bad boys out. So not sure what the fuel strategy might be for these drivers if they try and run it to the tank, or if at this point they stay out as long as they can, just try and beat the last couple of cars surviving, judging by the crashes we've had so far. The drivers can get formed up 2 by 2. The pace car will be in this time by Let's watch Matthew lead. Lee's been getting great starts all night. Curry's still not having the starts he wants. Lee hammers down already. With those worn out tires, he is going to have to pedal the gas a little bit more than guys on a fresh set, but gets another spectacular launch. And then Christopher Mckeithen moves up to second. We saw Mckeithen kind of battled for it earlier, going back and forth with Curry. Curry dives down low, looking for something to make happen against Christopher Mckeithen, number 6, but here comes Derek Fulton, the number 7. He's running that little bit faster high line for now. Carries a little bit more speed, and Curry gets shuffled back. He's down 2 spots from where he originally started. Derek Fulton's up 1, Christopher Mckeithen's up 1. Lots of racing left to go as we don't even approach the halfway point yet. Donald Stewart's still in the pits trying to get some repairs and get back out there. Right now, this is your race for 3rd place. It's between Matthew Curry, Derek Fulton, and now Jay Darger. He wants in the mix. He's got the draft and he gets a spectacular run. Darger running a little bit higher line than Derek Fulton. Most of the field still sticking down pretty low. Here we go, field starting to get stacked up. You can see a little bit more moves being made. Drivers have to be careful. 51 Matthew Curry dips a little bit below the apron. Car gets unsettled. He's going to lose a little bit of speed there. Here comes James Kaufman. Haven't been able to talk about him much tonight, but he's got a good run on the outside. He makes it stick in the line. Not sure if he's going to make it hold through 1 and 2. That inside line is so fast, but kills off tires just a little bit more. But it's a drag race down the backstretch between Matthew Curry and James Kaufman. Kaufman edges him out into 3. He's going to make it stick. Take a look at fan favorite Jay Darger in the number 57 machine. He's currently battling for 3rd against Derek Fulton. Fulton trying to catch down Christopher Mckeithen as well. So a 3-way battle for 2nd is developing. And Darger running such a high line, trying to carry a little bit more speed. Excuse me, Fulton carrying that high line. Darger's kind of happy, tucking in right now, taking some lessons from what's going on in front of him, see what he can figure out. He's definitely got the speed through 3 and 4, it looks like. Gets a massive drive. And there goes Derek Fulton. He's kind of eyeing out Christopher Mckeithen, seeing how much speed he can actually get, maybe make a pass going on. You've got Darger and Fulton working together in the wrap. They're going to push each other up to the front to make it happen. Oh, good racing. Not sure if those guys know about aerodynamics. I'm assuming they do. They know all about it, but when they're running that V shape, it allows everyone behind them to really, really reel in the gap. Christopher Mckeithen, he makes a pretty gutsy pass down low for second. Eric Fulton's still running that high line. Not sure if that's going to be a tire strategy move or maybe what. He's got something on, maybe on a different plan perhaps, but it looks like that's going to allow... Oh no! Mckeithen gets a little bit loose, tags the wall. Jay Darger swerves to avoid it. He's going to push Darger back just a little bit, but it looks like Mckeithen kind of got a little out of control there. Maybe a little bit higher than he planned on and tagged that wall. And the drag race down the back straight though between James Kaufman and Matthew Curry. Jay Darger kind of getting pushed out there. Take a look up at Derek Fulton. He's running second up 2 spots. He's trying to reel in Matthew Lee. We believe that Fulton may be on a 2-tire pit stop from last go-around. Could very well just be fuel, but judging by the pace, we're going to guess it might have been a couple tires as well. He is all over the rear bumper of Matthew Lee, though. Maybe that high side line does have something working for him. We've been seeing Fulton slowly bringing him way up to the top tonight. Still good racing from front to back, though. Not a lot of boring track time unless you're going to lap cars out here. Other than that, you've always got somebody around you, somebody to race. That's going to be Kenneth McCullough Jr. We see ahead of the lead pack. He was involved in that big crash with nowhere to go, nowhere to avoid damaging his machine. McCullough, he's going to hold the high line, give those races the preferred line. Actually, still has major aero damage with the number 2 machine, so he's going to be way off pace. And try and stay out there, circulate as long as he can, and maybe score some lucky dogs if at all possible. Less than 0.3 of a second separates your top three drivers right now. Lee, Fulton, Mckeithen, all running great. Lee did a 29.65 last time by. Fulton did he did a 30.33. Fulton did a 30.43, and Mckeithen put down a blazing fast 30.26. So these drivers are about a half second off their fresh tire pace from early on in the run. So tire wear definitely becoming a factor as we're only on lap 32 of this shootout. Fulton running really well. He's still a little bit faster than Lee in front of him or Mckeithen behind him. So Fulton's been pretty much running that higher line the entire night so far. Looks like the strategy's paying off pretty well for him though, as he keeps getting closer and closer to that race leader, Matthew Lee. Definitely spreading out here a bit, so interesting to see that. Some guys are falling off, not quite used to running those really worn out tires as the run progressed. Everybody getting much slower. Matthew Curry, one of our fastest guys we've seen here tonight in the 51 machine. His last lap time was a 30.92 compared to his 29.49. So I think if you can see drivers slowing down still, you're going to see them coming in for green flag pit cycles. They're unable to maintain pace. I think the one benefit these guys have is everybody's kind of slowing down pretty rapidly together. But as long as you don't see tons of cars pulling away from in front of you and you can keep a little bit of distance between the guys behind you, You'll see guys pushing it as long as they possibly can on these tires, but now tire wear is definitely a factor these guys are going to have to deal with, as Mckeithen puts it on 38.3, so over a second off of his best lap time for tonight. His tires coming to an end here pretty shortly. Mckeithen came in lap 13, possibly just for fuel, possibly just for right side tires. Unfortunately, I believe the only drivers that came in last cycle and took 4 tires were crashed out. So McCullough Jr., Donald Stewart, they're still out there trying to make something happen, but not having the race they were looking forward to. Here we go. That racial lead might be developing. Looks like it may be forming up. Fulton keeps hinting that he's got the pace to run up there, but he may be content following Matthew Lee and saving tires. Right as we say that, Fulton tags the wall just a little bit. He's going to lose maybe a tenth or so down this back straight. No, he stays in the draft of Lee and keeps the hammer down. So here's where we're going to see if Fulton is playing the tire wear game or not. Both of these drivers run almost the exact same lap time around the track, so Fulton may be happy saving a little bit of fuel and just following Lee, but Fulton, if he keeps tagging that wall any harder, it's going to be game over for him. The last thing he wants is aero damage. Darger looks like he has problems. The number 50 machine, he falls back to 8th place. That allows James Kaufman, Matthew Curry, Chad Ross, Jose Medina all the chance to get by Darger. So Darger having problems at the back of the field here. Not sure if he had a big moment or what. We do have some green flag pit stops starting. We got Christopher Mckeithen coming in, Matthew Curry coming in. If I was a betting man, and boy am I think you're going to see these drivers take 4 tires, get back out there, and see if they can put down some blistering lap times. If they're going to be a second to 2 seconds faster than the guy that's currently running, that will be huge for these guys. Got Donald Stewart out there. He's got a damaged car. He's going to try and hold the line as Derek Fulton, our new race leader. Matthew Lee coming in for tires and fuel. Matthew Curry, he initiated that green flag pit stop. Looks like himself, he is going to come in for 4 tires. So is Mckeithen. They're going to go back out. Good to see a green flag run finally develop here. Interesting to see how long Fulton's actually going to stay out for. Is he going to ride it down till the end? Is he going to see what the pace is behind him? Because right now he's got about a 5-second gap on second place, James Kaufman. So the more laps Fulton can put down right now, the better. He's got a long way to go. Only 5 drivers on the lead lap right now. Chad Ross moves up to second. See if we can get a camera on Ross. Ross in the 38 machine. His last pit stop was on lap 18. Only a 4.65 second pit stop, so definitely no chance that he took 4 tires there. But just like Fulton, the more laps they can put down, the better. He's got Jose Medina behind him, also on the same pit strategy so far. But these drivers can stay out for as long as they possibly can and hope for a yellow. They've got about 5 or 6 drivers at least 1 lap down on them. Those 3 drivers that came in, Matthew Lee, Christopher Mckeithen, Matthew Curry, all took 4 tires and fuel. Looks like Curry may have stayed in for a little bit and try and fix some aero damage. We've got a pass for second, though, as Jose Medina edges by Chad Ross. James Kaufman will be entering the pits this time by the number 11 machine. He's going to come in for tires as well. But Derek Fulton still staying out. His last lap time was a 30.78 compared to his personal best in the session, a 29.38. So looks like everybody except Matthew Lee out there. Matthew Lee's worked himself back up to the lead lap. Matthew Lee, though, a 30-second gap closing between, excuse me, that's going to be long bigger than that, a 38-second gap between himself and Derek Fulton. So at this rate, if Fulton can stay out there for as long as he possibly can, it would take Lee almost 37 seconds, about 35 to 36 laps to make up the time on Derek Fulton, and that's just to get unlapped. So Fulton's got pretty much exactly where he wants to be right now. A beautiful strategy working out for him. Big thumbs up to the number 2 machine, Kenneth McCullough Jr. He's doing his best to stay out of the way of the leaders. He's out there trying to salvage some points, and so far it seems to be working. McCullough Jr. currently running 9th, so still salvaging some points here. McCullough, we've seen him run in the truck series, always a great contender, runs really clean, really fast all the time. Just hate to see him with that stroke of bad luck tonight. We're watching Derek Fulton, though, the number 7 machine. He's got a 7-second gap to Jose Medina. Medina, Chad Ross, Jay Dargert, all on the same lap. All last pit cycle was on lap 18 for these drivers. None of them took 4 tires that time by, so they might be trying to stay out as long as they possibly can here. So Lee pretty quickly gaining in time on Derek Fulton. He's gaining a half second a lap, almost to a full second. So he's 18 seconds behind Derek Fulton and closing pretty rapidly. By the time we started that sentence to now, he's at 17 and a half seconds. So he's charging hard, but that's still a 34-second gap, 35-second gap. So we'll have to just come blistering by, catch up to Derek Fulton, get past, get himself back on the lead lap, and then do it all again. Gain 17 more seconds, so it's going to be interesting to see if Matthew Lee can do it. We know he has the pace. He's one of the faster guys out here. And right now it is the Derek Fulton show through and through. Chad Ross coming into the pit lane. He's going to come in. We might expect to see him take 4 tires. There's only 3 drivers on the lead lap right now. Fulton refusing to come in. Still picking off high 30s, so he hasn't dropped that much pace. I think that tire planning strategy really worked out for him. So Jay Dargert had some bad luck earlier, but staying out has helped him immensely. Dargert's worked himself up to 3rd place and running a fairly good lap. He did a 31.43 last time by. But most importantly, he is on the lead lap. So if they do get another caution, especially drivers are out there with mixed tire sets, some guys with really old tires, some guys with very new tires, that can shake things up and kind of bring out a caution. As we all know, cautions breed caution. So we had a couple early on. So far the guys keeping it good. Very interesting to watch here. So Derek Fulton, he's still a lap ahead of Matthew Lee. Lee is about 11 seconds down on this lap from Fulton. Usual pit deltas the entire time the drivers spend in the pits is anywhere between 40 and I believe 45 seconds. A lap time's a little bit over 30 seconds a lap right now. So if Fulton wants to come in, make a 4-tire pit stop, and still stay out in front of Matthew Lee, who just worked back on the lead lap with those fresh tires, he would need to pit 10 seconds ago if we're doing our math right. Matthew Lee's going to start clicking off laps. He's currently third, but right in front of the leader. Fulton's still on those tires. Do some more math here. We're on lap 56, so about 44 to go. That's going to be too many for Fulton. Fulton can't stay out that long and win just on time, so he is going to have to decide when he wants to pit, or he is praying for a caution. Right as you say that, Fulton is going to come in. So if we're doing our math right, if Fulton can hit all of his marks perfectly, take 4 tires, fuel, and get back out there, it should bring him out 10 seconds behind Matthew Lee if we're doing our math right here in the booth. Granted, to be fair, we are broadcasters, not mathematicians. There's a spectacular chance we get that all sorts of wrong, but the clock is running. We're at 23 seconds so far. And oh no! Looks like Fulton missed the box, had to back up. That's going to cost him precious seconds. Matthew Lee, 10 seconds and closing rapidly. Lee is going to get around Fulton. Let's see where Fulton is as he leaves the pits. So looks like the guesswork was pretty close. Lee currently 10 to 12 seconds in front of him as Fulton gets up to speed. But now we're going to see if Derek Fulton's tire strategy pays off. He may be able to go till the end here. I think they will have to pit one more time. And just like that, 6 drivers back on the lead lap after it was 3 for the longest time. Man, such a shame to see such good drivers involved in crashes early on. William Lothar, always a favorite, Stephen Page, Joshua Doobie, Donald Stewart, Ken McCullough Jr., all having a stroke of bad luck. An absolute shame. These drivers are so much fun to watch race. Looking forward to what they do as well tonight at round 2 at Daytona International Speedway. But man, back again, it's Matthew Lee out front and in charge. Christopher Mckeithen, he's running second. He is about 6 seconds down from Matthew Lee. They both pitted around that lap 40-41 window, and they're still clicking off mid to high 30s. Derek Fulton, though, puts down a blistering 29.84 his last lap around, so he's already almost a half second faster, over a half second faster of Matthew Lee, Christopher Mckeithen, but he is 10 seconds back. Not sure what Fulton's going to have in the back of his mind. Is he going to push hard here and try and get back up there and maybe pit at the same time as Matthew Lee, Christopher Mckeithen? They will have to come in earlier than him with that 65% fuel allotment. Or is he going to play the long game, try and save some tires, stay as long as he can and reel them in that way as the other guys fall off more rapidly? But right now, Fulton's putting down high 29s while Lee and Mckeithen's putting down high 30 lap times. And he's already closed that gap to about 9 seconds. Behind Fulton, you've got Matthew Curry all by himself. You got Jose Medina all by himself. Chad Ross, the 38 machine, he's making his way around. James Kaufman, he's racing the number 11 machine. He is the number 11 machine. He's racing the number 6, who's a lap down, I believe. A lap ahead of him. That's Christopher Mckeithen. So Kaufman came in lap 44 to grab tires. Only 4 laps newer than your second place runner right now. Not sure if he's going to try and make his way back up there, if he has the pace to try and make a lap back, but that may make it easier for Fulton to reel in Mckeithen as well. Taking it back to Fulton, here he comes. He is about a second and a half, a little bit less back than Mckeithen, who's running second, but lap traffic is a factor. That will help out Mckeithen and Fulton to a point. That means they have somebody to draft with, gain a little bit of speed that way, much faster than going around the racetrack all by yourself. But Derek Fulton, he is a rocket man right now. You can see the number 11, James Kaufman. Hauling the mail. Fulton charges past Mckeithen. So Fulton now only 6.2 seconds off of the leader. He did a 29.75, so he's already a second faster than the lead right now. Lead may be saving tires for a longer run, but with 15 laps difference in tires, that could be all it takes for Fulton to have a little bit faster pace, a little bit longer, gaining about a second a lap. That's going to put him about 4 or 5 laps away from catching Lee. I think if I was in Fulton's shoes, I'd be happy sticking behind Lee, maybe seeing what the pit cycle works out to. But I mean, Fulton is a very smart guy when it comes to pit strategy. He may have something in the back pocket and try and go out a little bit longer, or stay out a little bit longer than he has to, and get some more track position, because he made up that 10-second difference between himself and Lee pretty darn quickly. Derek Fulton down to a 5-second gap between himself and Matthew Lee. Lee's definitely led most of the laps today, but Fulton has had the pace. Taking an eye at Matthew Lee, he's up there all by his lonesome, just head down, clicking off laps. Last thing Lee wants to do right now is pit under green. He's going to stay as long as he possibly can as well. He's about 0.4 of a lap slower than Fulton that last time by. So you may see Fulton having a little bit of tire degradation as well. But Fulton knows Lee is going to have to pit before he does. Currently down to less than a 4-second gap. He may be able to see him in that rear view mirror. Looks like Lee is going to come in this time by. And Fulton will take over the race lead. Lee comes in a little bit hot there. Let's keep an eye on this pit time and see how long Lee is in for. See if he's taking 4 tires or what the plan may be here. I'm assuming he's going to. So it looks like it's going to be a 4-tire pit stop. Lee hits the ground running with a 14.02 pit time flat. It's extremely quick for 4 tires and just the right amount of fuel. So now it's Derek Fulton's show. Going to see if Fulton can hold on. He's got 28 laps to do it. Currently showing about a 38-second gap to Lee. So very curious to see how these different strategies are going to play out. Still doing math here. I mean, Fulton's clicking off 30.3, so he's definitely carrying great pace. If he pits now, he would be about 6 to 7 seconds behind Lee leaving the pits. And he would have the fuel to go the remaining distance from doing my fuel calculations up here in the booth. But right now, it's once again only 3 drivers in the lead lap. You got Derek Fulton winning this bad boy so far. Jose Medina in second. Chad Ross third. Ross up 9 positions so far tonight. So well done to Ross. He's been charging all the way along, keeping that 38 machine clean. Stayed out of the drama. So Fulton, he's got a 12-second gap on second place. Jose Medina, he's got a 21-second gap on Chad Ross, currently in third, and about a 37-second gap all the way down to Matthew Lee, who is showing as a lap behind him. So on track, Lee's only about 15 and a half seconds behind Fulton. And he's got to go that entire distance all the way around a 30-second gap from start line to finish line. I wish I could hear the crew chiefs talking right now, trying to figure out what Fulton's strategy is going to be, and I'm intrigued. Well, I've got a little bit of a green flag run. Let's run to a quick commercial break, and we'll see you back in about about 1 minute, I believe. All right, we're back, race friends. During the break, you saw Chad Ross. He came into pit lane that time by. He's going to come in, looks like 4 tires, full fuel. Derek Fulton still charging out front. His lap times did drop down to a 36.3, but Matthew Lee only put down a 30.04 his last time by. So Lee still 34 seconds down from Derek Fulton. So that is a big, big gap Lee is going to have to try and make up. If and when Fulton has to come in, he should be able to do it, and then Fulton will come out about 10-15 seconds behind by the fresh tires. With 20 laps to go, though, not sure how strategy is going to play out here, or if Fulton's going to try and run it all the way to the end if he can. So looks like Fulton, no, I thought he might have been dropping to the apron, maybe thinking about something, but through 1 and 2, maybe just doing a different line, trying something else out, or maybe getting a little bit tired and missing his mark there. So I'm very curious just how far Fulton's gonna have to go. He's been running a really clean race, doing his best to save tires, still has a 33-second gap on Lee. Jose Medina, your second place runner, he's into pit lane as well. take a lap on board with Derek Fulton. You're going to be able to listen to him lift way, way early going into one here, trying to save some tires. So Fulton doing his best to try and save tire wear that around. Right now he's got, I believe that's going to be Matthew Lee behind him, still a lap down. Lee up to P2, but still a lap down. So 17 laps to go here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. It's been the Fulton and Lee show all the way around. I think it's going to be the deciding factor is going to be by pit stops. Fulton with a 32-second pit with a time difference between Lee. If Fulton has to come in, that's going to put him out 10 seconds back with 16 to go. Lee's clicking off 30.4s. Fulton's clicking off 30.69s. We've seen Fulton still able to pull high 29s coming out of the pits with fresh tires. Looks like Jose Medina left the pit lane. That was who you saw on your screen behind Derek Fulton. So that's going to be even more lap drivers in between Fulton and Lee, second place. Again, still a lap down, 32 seconds back. With 14 to go, I didn't hear any fuel saving from Mr. Fulton. He may have enough in the tank to go all the way if he can, or he may be absolutely praying for a yellow flag right now. So Fulton's going to let by Jose Medina, the number 7 machine. Medina is several laps down. Right behind Fulton, though, you see Matthew Lee in the 04 machine charging hard. Lee's on that fresh set of tires. Going to get back in the lead lap right here. So now he is in second place, but right in front of the leader. That makes it right over a 30-second gap between Matthew Lee and Derek Fulton. Fulton put down a 30.86 last lap. That could be from trying to avoid lap traffic, run different lines, but Matthew Lee at 30.09, so almost a second. With 12 laps to go, if Fulton can stay out and still run those lap times, he should be okay for a win and still have Lee about 10 seconds back behind him, maybe more. Race might be one on pit strategy by itself. All these drivers doing great. Fulton, Lee, and Mckeithen, all really fast drivers, ran really good tonight. We'll look at live time and scoring as Fulton comes across the line. So that time around, Fulton did a 30.61 compared to Lee's 30.47, so less than 2/10 separating these guys that are going around. So the only question is, does Fulton have the fuel? Because if he does, he should have this in the bag right now. Nobody knows but Fulton and his crew chief and spotter tonight, so very, very interesting race strategy playing out. Oh, we see Fulton coming in. Fulton is going to have to come in, splash off some fuel. Not sure if he's going to take 4 tires here or not, but with a 30-second gap between himself and Matthew Lee, this race is starting to shake up, and we might see something happen here. If Fulton can get in, get out, maybe just only take right tires and enough fuel to get to the end, he should have the track position to stay out there. We're looking at the pit timer right now to see what happens, but Matthew Lee is coming up close. It's a 27-second gap, closing rapidly. Fulton, I believe, is going to take 4 tires. Fulton does take 4 tires, has it a very long pit window. He's at 18, 19-second pit stop, 20 seconds. Not sure what's going on with Fulton. Fulton's got big problems. We're going to keep an eye on Fulton, see what develops there, but Matthew Lee's back out front. Fulton has not left his pit box. Fulton just leaves the pit box with a 43-second pit window. I have no idea what happened there, but that's going to put Fulton a lap down out of nowhere. So Fulton with a 43.75 second pit window. He must have something going wrong. He might have had something going on in the hauler. Not quite sure what it been, but just like that, Matthew Lee's out front and going to be pretty much uncontested. Matthew Lee has a big gap. It's a 7.3 second gap on second place, Christopher Mckeithen. And a 17-second gap on third, Matthew Curry. So I think all these drivers have what it takes to go to the end at this point. But just like that, it gets shaken up rapidly. I'm still in absolute disbelief of what I just saw. A race that could have been a 5-second gap leaving the pit. A 30-second lap, or a 30-second longer pit window than what's expected. We've got 5 laps to go here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. It's looking like the Matthew Lee show. He started up front. He's running up front, and he very well may finish up front. 4 to go. His last pit was on lap 70, so I think he can make it all the way to the end. Behind him, he's got Christopher Mckeithen showing in second place. But right behind him on the track, he's got Chad Ross in the 38 machine. He's the lead car 1 lap down. So Ross also pitted around that same time. He pitted lap 75 instead of lap 70. Ross may try and get his lap back at 3 to go, but without a whole bunch of people up front, I don't think we're going to see that yellow come out for the end. That's going to be bad news for Chad Ross, Derek Fulton, James Kaufman a lap down from the leaders right now. Lee also getting the draft support from Chad Ross. That's going to help him out. Instead of pushing here all by himself, it's going to make him a little bit quicker. Lee did a 30.82 that time around. Chad Ross did a 30.79. So they're pretty much running the exact same pace here. Ross may be happy with 2 to go, just tucking in and bringing home that 4th place finish, even if he is a lap down. Points are points in these long championship series. White flag is out. Next time round will be the checkered flag. It's still Lee out front with a huge gap, followed by Christopher Mckeithen and Matthew Curry. For the final time, around the back 3 and 4 corners, he's going to come around the triangle, give a thumbs up out the window to his fans at home, but it is going to be Matthew Lee takes the checkered here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, followed by Christopher Mckeithen. Then Matthew Curry will bring home 3rd on the unofficial results. So well done to all these drivers. Great racing from start to finish. So we're going to see Matthew Lee lighten him up. Look at Matthew Lee, a well-deserved victory burnout. We're going to grab third place finisher Matthew Curry up into the booth with the number 51 machine. Matthew, you read me? You there, Curry?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, there we go. Curry, that was an interesting race. Looks like it kind of got sorted itself out from pit strategies tonight. How'd it go from your point of view?
It's a pretty good race. Not a lot of drivers tonight, so if you lost the draft, it was kind of hard to make up time. But it's always fun to race with this group of guys, and I appreciate everything Jeff does to put this on every week.
Yeah, good, clean racing. Are you pretty happy with the next-gen Cup cars they're driving, or is it still taking a little bit of getting used to?
It's taking time to get used to. Seems a little easy to drive right now. Not a lot of tire wear. You can almost hold it full throttle all the way through every corner in this track. So we'll see how this car evolves, especially when the next season starts.
I'm looking forward to it as well. Matthew, before we let you go, good, strong third. We know you need to get back to the hauler and get ready for Daytona. Anybody you want to thank before we let you go?
Just Jeff for putting this on, everybody on my team, Jay, Jose, Steven, Derek, Chad, all the guys I normally run with. And thank you for broadcasting this.
Always a pleasure. Matthew, we'll see you at the next one. Good luck, sir.
Thank you.
Up next, we've got the second place finisher. That's going to be Christopher Mckeithen. Chris, do you read me?
Yep, I got you.
There we go. I read you as well. Chris, you finished second tonight. Was that the performance you were hoping for, or are you just glad to be finishing where you're at tonight?
Yeah, I mean, Matthew was really fast as always, so I don't know. Would have liked to get the win, but we were just a little short on pace there.
And Christopher, how was the tire wear going around Charlotte Motor Speedway for 100 laps? Was that something that was really slowing you down towards the end, or is it pretty manageable in these new next-gen cars?
You can go about 20 laps around Charlotte there, just foot to the floor, for me at least. And then you have to start lifting off for the corners, especially 3 and 4, since it's tighter through there than 1 and 2.
Gotcha. Christopher, before we let you go, I know you're trying to get ready for Daytona really quickly. Anybody you'd like to thank in the broadcast booth?
I'd like to thank my dad, Nitro Kart, and Jeff for putting this whole thing on.
Awesome. Well, Christopher, we'll see you at the next one at Daytona. We wish you the best of luck, man.
Yep, thank you.
And finally, the man of the hour. We see him on the podium all the time. Matthew Lee, do you read me, man?
Gotcha.
Matthew, the 04 machine was looking fantastic tonight. Looked like it could have been decided by pit strategy. Then we saw something weird happen with Derek Fulton, and he was in there for an extremely long time. Was that a race you thought was going to be a little bit closer as it went on?
Oh, without a doubt. I definitely thought he was going to come out of the pits a lot closer. I mean, and then when I lapped him, I definitely figured something happened to him going into pit road.
Yeah, I hate to say it. Good racing back and forth just on pit strategy alone was a lot of fun to watch. Are you coming to terms good with the next-gen Cup car? You think it's going to be easy to drive the whole season, or you think they're going to update it and make it more of a driver's car?
I hope they do some stuff with it. It's kind of boring to race. It's really difficult in the draft. I mean, like, I control the guys behind me just with the air coming off of my car alone. When someone was kind of getting close to me in the corner, I'd kind of let them get there and just kind of turn across their nose a little bit, and it'd take the air off them, and up the track they'd go, especially on old tires. I really noticed that. So, I mean, it'd be nice to see them make it a little racier. It'd definitely be a little more exciting.
Now, I'm going to quote you on that after Daytona, after you say how easy it is to drive. So remember that one. And Matthew, before I let you go, anybody you want to thank tonight, man?
Yeah, first of all, I got to thank Martin Sports, all the guys over at CGE, Shenandoah Shine, GTR Simulators, McConey Setup Shop, Jeff for putting this league on, you for the broadcast, and all the guys for the great racing.
Well, always a pleasure. We'll let you get back to the hauler and get ready for Daytona, and we'll see you out there. Good luck, sir.
Yeah.
All right, that's going to wrap it up for Charlotte Motor Speedway 100 laps. Official results are follows. Matthew Lee is going to bring it home. You've got Christopher Mckeithen and then Matthew Curry, our top three tonight. A lot of drivers having a little bit of problems, still getting used to the next-gen Cup cars. A lot of really good names kind of gotten crashed out early on in the night, so we'll see if they have better luck at Daytona. We'll see you guys soon. Don't miss anything. Welcome back, race fans, to the FEG PC Cup doubleheader. We're now at Daytona. We're going to see these competitors blazing around for 60 laps around the super speedway. They're currently in open practice right now, but we're expecting a good run tonight. A lot of guys getting familiar with these next-gen Cup cars. Drivers saying, you know what, they're kind of easy to drive. It's definitely a drafting package on this bad boy. But it should be a very good race from start to finish. We've got about 30 seconds left in open package. You see Stephen Page, Jay Dargert working on their drafting, seeing how much they can get away with as far as bumping goes. These next-gen Cup cars, very easy to bump draft safely. So once you get them squared up, you can really aggressively push a competitor almost all the way around the racetrack, straightaways, corners. It doesn't matter. You can get right up on them. But the name of the game tonight is going to be trust. None of these drivers want to take each other out. They're all friends on and off the racetrack. So as we go into round two, these guys are still trying to score major points before the field fully books up, but it's going to be a good race as we get ready for open qualifying. Qualifying gets ready to kick off. We're going to see who leaves first. That's going to be, I believe, Christopher Mckeithen's going to be the first car out. Mckeithen getting a little bit of squirrely leaving the pits, warming up those tires the best way he knows how, which is the pedal will be absolutely down. So Mckeithen will be the first guy we see putting down qualifying laps. It's a 2-lap single car qualifying. So drivers are going to be hanging around that outside wall for their first couple laps, then they're going to drop down low, really shorten up that racetrack and put down a flyer. We'll see what Mckeithen can do here. He's already approaching 170 miles per hour all by himself. No draft package. These cars are fast. They cut through the air well. To be perfectly honest, they're really fun to drive. These next-gen Cup cars on the iRacing service mimics the real-life counterpart that just got released not too long ago. The same day NASCAR showed off the debut machines, iRacing released them in the simulator. So if you're trying to drive these next-gen NASCARs, you want to play racer on the weekend, or maybe join the FEG PC Racing League, found at FEGPC.net. Go out there, hop onto iRacing, and grab yourself a wheel. It's time to go driving. William Lothar, he's currently out there as well, but Christopher Mckeithen, he's holding 185 miles an hour coming around to the back straight. You're going to see him slowly let that car drift around, maybe try and tighten that corner up. Now he's still on his gain speed lap, so he's going to run that high lane if he can. Try and get as close as you can without tagging the wall. Cut it back through the tri-oval. And this time by, we should see Mckeithen trying to put down his flying lap as he drops down low. Mckeithen clicks off of 48.74, holding 187 miles an hour going into one. You're going to see him hold that bottom line as low as he possibly can. Tires just hinting at that apron, that double yellow line, letting you know the infield is going to flatten out, and you're going to have a little bit of a transition there. So Mckeithen, he's going to let that car slowly drift to the left all by himself. The less steering input you can give, the easier it is on the tires and the faster you will be. Mckeithen's going to ride that bottom line one more time. Using every inch of available racing service if he can. Mckeithen's going to click off a 48.24. He's going to be behind William Lothar that clicked off a 48.21. And throws it away for the crowd. Look at Jesse Bobo here. Late entry. Wasn't able to get to round one. Had prior commitments. We're going to see what he can do. But right now it's Lothar, our friendly, fast Canadian. He's going to be sitting on provisional pole in the 47 machine. So Jesse Bobo run around the racetrack here. He's going to see what type of flyers he can put down. Kenneth McCullough Jr., he moves up. Jose Medina moves up the board as well. Medina puts down a 48.2, followed by Lothar with a 48.21. McCullough puts down a 48.21. Mckeithen puts down a 48.24. Stewart, Kaufman, Dargert putting down around 48.25. So these guys are absolutely hauling out there. Waiting to see what type of time Bobo puts down. We've got a new, another fast car, Matthew Lee, the guy everyone wants to beat, whether it be in trucks, whether it be in next-gen Cup cars. But Lee drops a 48.14, so 0.06 of a second, edges out Jay Dargert, who did a 48.2. Dargert has had a series of bad luck in some of the races he's been in. But good to see him up there. Jesse Bobo clicks off a 48.39. He has not had the seat time in the warm-up the other drivers tonight, so that may be coming into effect. Still got to get everything warmed up in his rig and his arms, try and get the blood flowing. Bobo kind of running a racing line, less so than a qualifying line, but as long as he can get around the track safely and click off some going, he's going to be happy. As lone qualifying has finished. Let's look at our grid tonight. It's going to be Matthew Lee starting up front, followed by Jay Dargert, Jose Medina, William Lothar, our top four. Kenneth McCullough Jr. will be starting 5th, James Kaufman in 6th. Christopher Mckeithen will be starting 7th, Donald Stewart 8th. You've got Jesse Bobo starting 9th, Derek Fulton 10th, Chad Ross 11th, Stephen Page will be in 12th tonight, starting 12th. And then rounding out the field will be Matthew Curry starting 13th. I don't believe Curry put down a qualifying time. But let's get ready to go here at Daytona International Speedway. It is going to be a good one. As drivers get ready to take the field, they're going to grid up here on pit lane, follow that iRacing pace car out around the 2.5 miles of Daytona International. As someone who's had the pleasure of racing a motorcycle around this track, it is absolutely terrifying with the extremely banked surface. I believe up to 30 degrees through 1 and 2, 3 and 4. So it is a track that is scarily fast and wide open. So you're going to see tonight a lot of bump drafting, a lot of different lanes forming up, 1 and 2 lanes. I don't think that there's going to be much of a different strategy. Everybody's going to stay out for a full fuel run if it allows it. So it's going to be hammer down, teamwork, and see what we can sort out as the laps click off. 60 laps, over 120 miles here tonight. Guaranteed to be some side-by-side bumper banging action. They're going to make their way around for this one-siding lap. As always, I'm James East in the broadcast booth, brought to you by Team Goon Squad Broadcasting. Major thanks to the FEG guys for having me on board. It's always a pleasure calling these races. A great group of guys in the paddock. Just a bunch of goofy guys, great racers, and a lot of fun to hang out with them. I always appreciate it. Hoping for some green flag runs tonight. We love watching crashes, but we'd much rather see good, hard racing. Nobody wants to be on the sponsored slow motion replay tonight. Speaking of, all slow motion replays brought to you by Phantom Graphics tonight. Thank you to those guys for everything they do. We're glad to have you on board with the the FEG PC network. So much obliged to those guys at Phantom Graphics. We are greatly appreciated to have you on board as a partner. We're going to take a look. Pace car is in. We're going to look for Matthew Lee. Gets a good, strong start. You got Jay Darger running the high line. Jay, it looks like he's hinting at trying to get down low and maybe get in line, but they're already shuffling across the board as they hint at going 3 wide. Darger gets a good lunge. He's out front. So Darger drops down low behind him. He's got William Lothar run the high line. You've got Christopher Mckeithen in the number 5 machine run that second groove as well. And behind them, they've got number 4, James Kaufman, trying to get that second thing going. Jay Darger throws a pretty nasty block on, I believe that's Matthew Lee in the 04 machine. Right now, it is Darger's show, a fan favorite. We haven't seen him up front as much as he wants to. Yellow flag is out. Looks like Jesse Bobo may have been involved in the first incident. James Kaufman involved in the crash as well, so we'll see if we can get that on the replay. Oh, no. That's a violent one. So that's going to be number 4, James Kaufman in the initial incident. See if we can back that up a bit. So it looks like Kaufman in the number 4 machine tries to drop low and self-clear in front of number 13, Jesse Bobo. Bobo has nowhere to go and just spins Kaufman on a spectacular ride there. Looks like the number 38, that's going to be Chad Ross involved. See the number 7 machine, Derek Fulton, he gets out of the way. The 51 machine makes it through clear. Look at the number 1 machine skating by, Stephen Page. That must have been absolutely terrifying. So not what you want to see here on the opening laps, that is for sure. So it looks like that is going to be Stephen Page involved, James Kaufman involved, Chad Ross gets by clean. So Jesse Bobo also involved, may have front end damage on that 13 machine. We're going to look to see him come down pit lane. Kenneth McCullough Jr. also coming down pit lane. I don't think Kenneth was involved in any of the incidents. He may be figuring out, you know what, not quite worth the stress yet. I'll come in, take a couple tires, maybe some fuel, and stay a little bit longer than the boys and kind of avoid the carnage. So interesting to see what his plan is. But right now we've got McCullough Jr., Derek Fulton, Chad Ross, Stephen Page, Matthew Curry, all in the pits, as well as James Kaufman coming in and out. With only 2% of the race done so far, not quite sure if this is what everybody expected. I know Jay Darger's happy to be up front, keeping that machine clean. Matthew Lee in second. He's been a hard charger in every track we go to. Trucks, cup cars, it could be professional scooter racing, doesn't matter. You can expect to see Matthew Lee up on the podium. Jose Medina in that beautiful 24 machine. So it's going to be a long night if this is any indicator. Unfortunately, that crash was just caused by somebody self-clearing. Not a lot that the other driver could do on that one, I'm afraid. Kenneth McCullough Jr. coming back in. Derek Fulton coming in. Chad Ross coming in. Matthew Curry coming in. Stephen Page coming in. Interesting. Not quite sure what they've got going on there. Interesting strategy. Only in there for 4 seconds, so not sure if they're topping off fuel every time around. We'll have to ask Kenneth McCullough Jr., James Kaufman, Derek Fulton, Matthew Curry. A very interesting strategy. That might be a fuel-saving strategy. we're going to stack them up here. Jay Dargart's going to be out front, followed by Matthew Lee, Jose Medina, Christopher Mckeithen. Bunch of fast guys up here. We're going to wait for that iRacing pace car to come in. Then it's going to be Matthew Lee. Jay Dargart is going to put the pedal down as hard as they possibly can around here. Again, we're hoping for some good, clean, green racing tonight. Smaller field with the FEG PC Cup Series. They just kicked it off in these next-gen cars. If you want to get involved, go to FEGPC.net. Pace car is in. Jay Dargart gets on the gas, and he does it quickly. Jose Medina is going to fall in line second. Matthew Lee's going to sit third. Let's see if these guys are going to be happy getting single file for a little bit, maybe click off some laps, try and get through this bad boy, and then race the last 5-10 laps. Or they might go 2 wide, 3 wide, 4 wide here on the opening laps. With Jay Dargart currently out front getting chased by Jose Medina. Nobody's pushing really hard. You saw the number 5, Christopher Mckeithen, get into the back of, I believe, William Lothar just a little bit there. Lothar in the 47 machine. Looks like the drivers are going to be pretty content following single file for a little while at least. We're only lap 6 of 60 here at Daytona. You guys will be clicking off laps. They all did their personal best that time by. William Lothar currently had the fastest on the board with a 48.5. Drivers hitting just about 200 miles an hour on that backtrack. They hit 198 before they tip in single file. Nobody really running closer than they have to at this point. Everybody's kind of giving a little bit of space to their thing, and then Jay Dargart goes off track. Dargart enters pit lane. No idea the how or the why they. Dargart, a fan favorite. You hate to see that. Not quite sure what he's got going on tonight, but that's a crying shame to see Jay coming in early. So now you've got your new race leader, Jose Medina, followed by Matthew Lee, Donald Stewart, William Lothar, all in that top group. Christopher Mckeithen, he's in the mix. Behind that, you've got James Kaufman, who's about 2.7 seconds back from the leader. So he might be happy just following this 4 or 5 car pack and see if anything develops throughout the night. Man, running nose to tail, Matthew Lee currently pushing Jose Medina. We'll try and get you an onboard of Medina, show just how close Lee is getting to the rear bumper of that number 24. That's a pretty good view right there, giving him plenty of space from the 04, but you see him reeling them in right as they dip into the corner. So Medina knows he has fast guys behind him, and these guys are able to save a little bit more fuel following in the draft here. That means Medina will have to come in about 1 lap earlier than the rest of the field if they are able to stay green. But so far, pretty clean single file racing around the massive banking of Daytona International. William Lothar looks like he's kind of sticking his nose out just a little bit behind Donald Stewart, seeing what's going on. See if he might have a run develop, but so far I think everybody's going to be content running single file for at least a while. The tail aggressively pushing the number 24 of Jose Medina. Matthew Lee all over that rear bumper, not giving a lot of space. You'll see Lee kind of hop out of the draft just a little bit in the corners, try and get some cool air on the front of the number 04 machine. A lot of fun watching the draft battles right here at Daytona, because you can have the fastest car, but if you don't have some good group of guys to work with as you draft your way around, you can be in big trouble and all by yourself pretty quickly. And here comes Matthew Lee, try and get on the back of Medina. You're going to see how hard he can actually push around here. Come forward with Matthew Lee, see if he pulls up to him like he has been on this backstretch. A spectacular view lets you know just how much angle these guys are carrying all the way through that back 3 and 4. Good clean racing, only lapped 12 out of 60, so these guys are going to be pretty happy sitting where they're at, try and click off a few laps, maybe see what they can get away with as far as pushing. We saw Lee giving a few good bumps to Medina, trying to push him up there, seeing how comfortable these guys are together. But so far, so good. Once we get that first caution out of the way, these guys are running really, really good out here. Page in front of the driver's page had issues early on, got collected. The drivers will probably be communicating to Page saying, hey, we'd like the low line, please. Page is going to hold that high sign, let that pack come by nice and clean, and he will do his best to fall in line behind the leaders, stay with that draft. But that lead car pack is checking out. They've got about 5 cars up there in the lead pack. That's going to be Medina, Lee, Stewart, Lothar, Mckeithen, and over that, they've got about a 5-second gap to Chad Ross. He's currently running 6th all by himself, doesn't have a lot of draft partners to work with. And here comes more lap traffic. So that's going to be Jesse Bobo in the 13 machine. His front end of his next-gen car completely removed. Good news is he's getting a little bit more airflow. Bad news is his aerodynamics are like a dump truck right now. So Bobo goes to the lead car 1 lap down. Lead pack gets a little bit more stretched out here. You see number 5, Christopher Mckeithen, looking down low, see if he can make something happen on William Lothar. Not sure if he's going to be able to. No, they accordion right back together. Lee all over that rear bumper of Medina. It definitely gives him a noticeable little bump there when they're pushing that hard from 3rd, but 3rd of Donald Stewart in the 78 machine. He knows as long as he stays in the draft, he's got 2 cars behind him. He's still in a good spot to try and make some passes as the run develops. If the need arises for any passes, we're willing to bet here these guys are going to be pretty happy running single file and try and click off some laps and hit their fuel window. Looks like Jesse Bobo came in. He might be trying to get some of that damage fixed. Maybe a little bit more duct tape slapped onto the car. Could be wrong here. It looks like he might have a bumper again, so that's got to be a good start. I believe that was Bobo we saw leaving the pits. Run developing good. All these drivers only about 2/10 off their best lap time so far. Most of the guys are clicking off 46.05s to 46.09. So Christopher Mckeithen, he drops a 45.97. The last car in this pack of the lead 5 drivers. He's up 2 spots. Has a little bit more air to play with as he reels in the pack and kind of yo-yos back and forth. Stephen Page going to be happy just riding along here. He is the lead car 1 lap down, so if a yellow does come out, he will get the lucky dog as long as he's not involved in any incidents. And just like that, you can be back in the race. 10 drivers on the lead lap right now. 5 of them right now on your screen running nose to tail around this super speedway. Great onboard view from Matthew Lee shows just how fast these guys are going around that tack, hitting about 8,500. So it red lines about 94, 95 if I remember correctly in these next gen Cup cars. Last thing these drivers want to do at this point in the race is cause an incident. They're going to be behaving pretty well as the race laps tick down. You'll see people more and more aggressive. Oh, just as we say that, they're getting a little bit loose back there. I believe that's William Lothar kind of hopping around the racetrack. He's sitting 4th, and number 5, Christopher Mckeithen, backs up just a second, goes, whoa now, a little bit early for that. All these guys are really good drivers, have great pace. Not going to be an issue unless the driver makes an egregious mistake and drifts up the racetrack, I don't believe. That second pack led by Chad Ross, Derek Fulton. Let's get eyes on them. These guys are about 8 seconds back from the leader. They've got a nice 5-car pack. Not quite as tight of a line as that lead pack is. They've got the car amount, but unless they tighten it up, they will not catch them. Get an 8-second gap right now. But all these guys fighting for points. They're going to see what they can do on a pit cycle. They may communicate and come in a lap earlier than the leaders. But as long as they keep working together and keep that line pretty tight, in the snake game where everybody's whipping and sliding all over the track, they, in theory, should be able to at least maintain the same speed as the lead pack. But that lead pack is keeping it very, very tight here around Daytona. Getting a little bit more room that time by, but they know they've got an 8-second gap right now. William Lothar, Chris going back and forth on live time, and it looks like somebody's got major lag issues. Oh, Lord. I believe that's William Lothar in the 47 machine. Might have had a pretty spectacular lag spike. He was gone for a good 5-10 seconds. Yeah, I believe that was Lothar. Christopher Mckeithen behind him, absolutely terrified, didn't know where to go. Scared to death his competitor was going to reappear inside his machine. Gotta be my favorite camera shot around Daytona International Speedway. Gives you an idea of just how fast these guys are moving. Hitting speeds of an excess of 199. I believe some of the guys might have tipped at 200 that last time by. So I mean, they're 22 laps on a set of tires. No signs of slowing down anytime soon. Just pushing hard, running as quick as they can. Trying to keep as much of a distance between that second pack as they can will allow them a better chance than you have to come in the pit. These guys are going to try and stretch it out to lap 30 or so at the minimum. They definitely don't want to see them pitting before the lap 30 mark. They're going to run out as far as they can on tank of gas. Communicate with each other when they can come in, take full fuel, 4 tires, get back out there and get back in formation, start clicking it off. If they don't communicate and the second pack is working together a little bit better than the first pack, you can see a lead change here as the lead pack will, or the second pack will have an opportunity to catch up. very impressed with the quality of racers here tonight. Looks like that's going to be William Lothar. He's going to come in on the pit lane, maybe try and do something different here. Lothar coming in on a single car pit stop. He does have some aero damage. Medina, Lee, Stewart, Mckeithen, they stay out. Chad Ross still 9 seconds back with his group of cars. Chad Ross moves up to 5th. He's up 6 spots so far. You're going to see a bit of a different pit cycle working out. Medina's going to come in. Medina, Mckeithen, Stephen Page, 3 cars going to come in. They're going to race to pit road and trying to get their boxes the quickest. Donald Stewart and Matthew Lee stay out. Our current 2-pack, not sure how long they're going to stay out for. They've got a swarm of guys behind them. Chad Ross, Derek Fulton, Kenneth McCullough Jr., James Kaufman, Matthew Curry, all running in formation right now in the second pack. They should definitely start reeling in these top 2 guys if they can work together nice and tight single file, but I expect you're going to see these guys, just as we said, they're going to come in as well. Matthew Lee, Donald Stewart are going to enter pit road. You got your new race leader, Chad Ross, leading that second pack. They're working together, trying to stay as long as they possibly can. That's lap 26. So not sure. I know they have 60% fuel allotment. Not sure what their fuel window is actually going to be here on Daytona. They're all trying to undercut and run until the end and hope for no green-white checkers. But now you got Chad Ross, Derek Fulton, Kenneth McCullough Jr., your top 3. It'll be very interesting to see how long these guys are staying out for. And looks like they're coming in. Almost go 3 wide into pit lane. That was gonna be exciting. Derek Fulton crosses the line first. He's gonna lead him in for that pack. Matthew Lee pretty much by himself. I believe that is William Lothar behind him. Lothar a lap down. Lee, almost gets run over there. So Lee is our new race leader, I believe. William Lothar is going to stay a lap down, but he is the lead car on the lead car 1 lap down, so he is in lucky dog contention as we sit. We say it every week as tire strategies come into play, you start getting drivers mixed in around guys on different strategies. That's when the excitement can start to happen. But right now it's Matthew Lee out front, Jose Medina in second, Kenneth McCullough Jr. in third. He's way back there. He's about 12 seconds back from our race leader, Matthew Lee. Lee came in for a 9-second pit stop, so he might have only taken fuel. He may have taken right side tires, but that's a pretty quick pit stop. Only person I see taking 4 tires is going to be Derek Fulton. He's in for a 14-second pit stop as well. The different strategy definitely playing in here. Good racing. We saw Charlotte decided on pit strategy followed by a speeding penalty from one of our drivers, so things could still be shaken up here, but right now Matthew Lee's got a pretty dominant performance. Lee's got more lap traffic in front of him. He's going to pick up some draft help from the friends, and that's going to help him out more trying to maintain that 14-second gap he currently has to Kenneth McCullough Jr., who's leading that second train of cars. Number 13 has a massive, massive link. That's Jesse Bobo. He's going to run the outside wall. Might tag at one time, trying to get the leaders, but good for Bobo for having the know-how to know when to politely get out of the way as the leaders are making their way around. Matthew Lee, a man on a mission. He's got draft help galore now. He's going to pick up Bobo in that draft. He still has William Lothar one lap down. I believe that's Donald Stewart in the 78 machine right in front of them now. Matthew Lee's going to keep picking up lap cars. He's going to get more and more draft help. The more guys he can get to tuck in behind him, the better for him. He gets a little bit of a push behind. It looks like Lee had a check up. Not sure if Lee's going to keep behind Donald Stewart, maybe save a little bit of fuel that way, or if he's going to get by when he does have the opportunity. Like Stewart's going to be pretty content running his own line, and if the leader wants by, he's going to have to make a move. If I was a betting man, I'm thinking Lee's going to tuck in for just a little bit. If Stewart can carry the pace, maybe save some fuel, let Stewart take the air off the front of the 04 machine. That looks to be the plan. I believe Lee is going to follow Stewart around this racetrack and save a little bit of fuel. Try and stretch it out as long as he possibly can. See if he can make it a one-stop race. Lee did not take 4 tires his last pit window. Great clean racing all the way around. I believe that's Derek Fulton leaving the pits as well. He's coming in for tires and fuel. Matthew Lee really trusting the guys around him. He's got Donald Stewart in front of him who's about to be a lap down. Stewart's currently running 8th place. Behind Lee, he's got William Lothar giving him the push. And then behind Lothar, I believe you've got Jesse Bobo in the mix. So Lee's surrounding himself with cars he doesn't really have to race right now. So it's a strategy to see if fuel saving will pay off. But you still really have to trust the guys you're around. Nobody's slow here. Everybody's carrying great speed. But more good, clean racing here on Daytona International Speedway. While we have a break in the action, we're going to run a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back. All right, race fans, we are back. Still Matthew Lee out front. He's got Donald Stewart in front of him, currently running 8th place. Looks like Lee's going to allow Stewart to stay on that lead lap, maybe take some air off of the 04 machine. As we are more than halfway through this Daytona Speedway special. It was a double header tonight, so competitors ran Charlotte first, followed by Daytona. Two very different tracks, very different driving styles required. A lot more drafting going on here at Daytona, the Super Speedway. As the field got pretty strung out pretty early, you've got Matthew Lee up front. Behind him, he's got Jose Medina 6 seconds back. Keith McCullough Jr., he's our 3rd place driver. He is 20 seconds back right now. So once the field stretched out, you can see who's a little bit more confident drafting with friends and who's not quite willing to run nose to tail as much. The field gets strung out here at Daytona. Great driving from all our competitors. They're keeping it very, very clean. We had one caution early on. Somebody kind of self-cleared themselves. These drivers doing their best to hold it still. 47 and below. It looks like he's going to drop low, decides against it. Not quite sure if he was hinting at a stop or what that might have been. Falling off that lead pack just a little bit. He should be able to draft right back up to him. These next-gen Cup cars, so proficient at drafting. You can really cut through air here. But out of 8 cars in the lead lap, 2 of them are in frame. That's going to be Donald Stewart. He's actually in 8th place in the very front of this 3-car pack. Then you've got behind him Matthew Lee. He is the overall race leader right now. He's happy following Stewart around, saving a little bit of fuel when he can. Jose Medina, he's got a pack of his own. He's accompanied by Stephen Page and I believe Derek Fulton. Page must be multiple laps down. Fulton a lap ahead of him. So that 3-car pack doesn't have a lot to work with trying to catch that lead pack. And then all the way back 20 seconds from the leader, you've got Kent McCullough Jr. rolling along. He's accompanied by Chad Ross. Unfortunately for these guys, unless something changes, this field's just too strung out. They will not be able to reel in a 21-second gap as they go around the International Speedway. Just not enough support from friends and not enough laps to make it happen. If anything, they're going to keep losing time. As Lee up here, he's still working with a 3-car pack. And we've seen Lee is very comfortable bump drafting, riding the rear bumper up. So Donald Stewart in front of him. We're going to check something real quickly. So Donald Stewart and Matthew Lee are teammates. So they're going to work together. That may be a little bit of communicating going on through their crew chiefs and spotters trying to get something sorted out. So that's definitely some strategy there. Stewart's doing his part to block off some air and keep the things rolling. And maybe, if Matthew Lee sees a caution about to come out, he may let Stewart ride and give him the lucky dog. I guess at that point it doesn't really matter. He will get the wave around if there's a caution at this point too. So teammates working together, trying to keep at least 1 car on the podium. Make it 2. Matthew Lee, Ken McCullough Jr. also teammates. But Stewart playing his role well, taking the air off of Lee, allowing him to save a little bit more fuel going around this racetrack. If you're watching at home and you want to get on the action, the FEG PC Cup Series, this is their opening night season debut. Still time to grab your spot, try and compete for the overall championship. you can still get on the action. Go to FEG.net, makers of high-quality computer systems with the sim enthusiast in mind. Be it Microsoft Flight Simulator, DCS World, iRacing, it could be R-Factor 2. You could just want the best computer money can buy, then check out FEGPC.net. Get yours today. One of the few companies still putting out quality products at a fair price, considering how wild the market has been for computer components the last year since COVID started. So again, FEGPC.net. You can grab yourself a computer, grab yourself a slot in this racing league, and join us every Monday and Wednesday night for their 2 different series running right now, and have a bunch of fun with the racers. Taking it back to McCullough Jr. He's still 23 seconds back and still losing ground to that lead pack. It's just him back there, accompanied by, I believe, the number 7 of Derek Fulton. No, excuse me, I think that might be, let's see who that is. Try and get number 10 as we watch Derek Fulton right now. He's pushing the number 1 of Stephen Page. Trying to get that second group formed up, but this late in the run is not looking good for the home team. Trying to make something happen. 17 laps to go. Matthew Lee very content to run out front, so he's got a teammate in front of him. He's got William Lothar right behind him. 1 lap down. So Lee, our lead car tonight, in the middle of the 3-car pack. These guys are just clicking off laps, getting more and more time figured out. They've got a 5-second gap over second place and a 24-second gap over third place. A lap here around Daytona International Speedway is about 46 seconds what they're clicking off right now. So these guys almost a half track ahead of their components. Matthew Curry makes a pass on Christopher Mckeithen, so is James Kaufman. I believe, oh, we do have a crash. Christopher Mckeithen goes for a ride. He's sitting in the number 5 machine. The leader goes high, tries to get out of the way. No yellow yet. Mckeithen is off the race line. There we go. There's a yellow flag. Let's see if we get a replay on that one. So it looks like the 51, that's going to be Matthew Curry. Gives him a good hard bump mid-corner. Not sure if that might be a little bit of net code there or what happened. We're gonna wind it back and get on board with Matthew Curry. Matthew Curry, not one to purposely make any mistakes or try and end somebody's night early. Let's see if we can grab it here from our in-house broadcasting crew. So we're going to watch onboard Matthew Curry, see what happens here. So Curry's going to drop low. Doesn't look like he makes contact. It might be a bit of net code going on there. Mckeithen does his best to hold on to it, but it starts bucking, gets that high-speed wobble and a tank slapper. So Curry's going to get through clean. Number 4 machine's going to get through clean. And then Christopher Mckeithen goes for a wild ride. No, the number 4 goes around as well. So that's the number 4, James Kaufman. He's going to be involved in it as well, locking up the brakes. Try and keep that car safe and sound. Let's see what happens with Christopher Mckeithen here. Does he go back up track? Mckeithen holding on for dear life. I think he keeps the car clean. Gets off the race surface just as the race leaders are coming around. Brings out the caution. With 14 laps to go, our leaders have pitted and will make their way out. Lee with a 5-second pit stop, McCullough with a 5-second, Jose Medina with a 9-second, but this is going to stack the field up and allow those guys to get back together. That's the last thing Lee wanted right now. So that is 100% going to shake things up a little bit here at Daytona. We've got William Lothar in the pits. We're going to see how long it takes him to get in and out. Looks like Lothar is going to take full fuel and 4 tires before he gets back out there with a 14.68 second pit stop. Just like that, Kenneth McCullough Jr., he's up to second, Jose Medina in third, Matthew Curry fourth, Donald Stewart fifth. So just like that, in an instant, things get shaken up and the field has packed back up, and we might see a little bit more spirited racing here. I believe it's going to be 9 cars on the lead lap now in a 13-lap shootout. So you're definitely not going to see any more pit stops coming in now. These guys are going to hold it wide as long as they can. Somebody to keep an eye on here is going to be Matthew Curry, Donald Stewart, Chad Ross. All took 4 tires that last pit stop. William Lothar did as well. So all these guys on fresh rubber compared to our top 3. Lee was a very short pit stop. McCullough with a short one. Medina with a 9 seconds. So he may have taken right sides at the least. We're about to have some good racing here, ladies and gentlemen. 13 to go around Daytona International Speedway. So you're going to see on live time and scoring, that's going to be Fulton and Kaufman holding it wide, trying to catch this pack before they go green again. They did get the wave around that go around, so these guys are going to do their best to get back up there and get in the mix of it. Hopefully we can go green to the end, but with 13 to go and some people on different tire strategies, it's going to be an exciting. So Matthew Lee and Kenneth McCullough, they're 1 and 2. They are teammates, so you might see one guy dropping down low to give a little bit of draft support. Matthew Lee probably the statistical favorite tonight, but never discount Kenneth McCullough Jr. or Jose Medina. These guys know what it takes to run up front every week. We go green, and it looks like Matthew Lee drops down. He's going to get allowed by Kenneth McCullough Jr. 12 laps to go. You've got Kenneth all over the rear bumper of Matthew Lee. So far. Behind them, you've got Jose Medina in the 24 machine. To see him getting a little bit loose behind him. That's going to be Donald Stewart, the 78, trying to make something happen here. 12 laps to go. The draft is going to be very, very important. Not sure if we're going to see that second line forming up or if they're going to wait towards the end. But to finish first, you've got to have some good, strong cars all the way up there. Drivers single file as they go into 3 and 4, nose to tail. Kenneth McCullough Jr. all over the rear bumper of Matthew Lee right now. Behind him, Medina knows what it takes. He's going to reel up just a little bit. Outside line is forming. I believe that's going to be Chad Ross. And Jose Medina throws it wide. He throws out a block on the outside line. Blocks the black number 5 car. That's going to allow Matthew Lee and McCullough Jr. to get a little bit more speed, try and get away from the shenanigans behind them. They're doing their best to crash, but trying to save it. Medina's running that high side line, trying to get it formed up with 3 cars. Not sure if he's going to have the better. Oh, they get loose. They touch. A spectacular save. That's the last thing those guys running in 5th or 6th really want to have right now. They want to drop in single file and try and get back up there. With 10 laps to go, not a lot of time to be bouncing around their buddies. A great save by the drivers, though. You got to give them credit. That could have went way, way worse. Good, clean racing. They're going to go 2x2 again. Another 47 of William Lotha throws a bit of a block on Chad Ross, it looks like. Christopher Mckeithen, for some reason, he's a lap down. That's what's going on. So Mckeithen not even really in the race up there. I guess trying to get out of the way at that point, run the high line. Maybe he doesn't want to be involved. He's going to try and stay with this lead pack the best he can. Matthew Lee with a big, big gap starting to form up just a little bit, getting that draft support from McCullough Jr. 8 laps to go. Time is dwindling for these top 5 drivers to make something happen. Expecting about 3 to go. You're going to see some exciting racing going on as guys are going to be willing to hang it out and get that second group working. If they're going to do it, they've got to get people to commit with them. Otherwise, you're going to get left high and dry and get sucked to the back of the pack. As we saw Stephen Page, he's also at least one lap down. He gets dropped back a little bit. Everybody pretty happy running single file here, at least for a moment. Laps to go around Daytona International Speedway. Is anybody's guess what's going to happen? A spectacular onboard for McCullough Jr. Let's you see how quick he's able to reel in just with the draft. He's got a fleet of good drivers behind him. As we go 6 laps to go, it's about to be 5 to go. This is the point. You can see drivers being a little bit less patient, a little bit more aggressive. The outside line trying to get something working. That's going to be Chad 38 machine, but getting not a whole lot of love from anyone else. He's got Stephen Page behind him, who's a lap down, so Page trying to push him up there, but there's not enough drivers willing to commit to that line quite yet. You may see McCullough Jr. drift high if that outside line gets working and tries to get a push to the front, but I'm not sure if McCullough Jr. is willing to do that or if he's willing to stay there in second and let his teammate win it. 5 laps to go here at Daytona International Speedway. Whoa, what's going on there? Chad Ross goes around. Ross heavily involved. Get that replay going for you. I believe that's going to be Stephen Page, Chad Ross involved. See if we get the best camera angle we possibly can here. So Page, who is a lap down, just tips the 38, trying to self-clear. And just like that, Chad Ross's night is over. He was one of our lead car drivers. He was running up to 7th, 6th place. Then calamity ensues, so that's going to take out Stephen Page as well. Both those cars absolutely destroyed going into that incident. Take it back to Matthew Lee. He's still out front. He's got Kenneth McCullough Jr. behind him. I don't think you're going to see anybody coming in for tires at this point. We've got 4 laps to go. Maybe green-white checker conditions here at Daytona. We see Jay Dargert. He's back out leaving the pits after a 42-minute pit stop. Not sure if Mr. Dargert may have fallen asleep at his sim rig. Maybe an important business call from the team owner of the number 57 machine, but good to see Jay back out there. Coming around the outside. He's going to try and get back on that lead lap. Yes, James, possibly James. I'm not sure quite who that was. Possibly Christopher Mckeithen, maybe the number 5 machine. But it's going to be an absolute shootout here to the end. You've got teammates Matthew Lee, Kenneth McCullough Jr. out front. I believe Donald Stewart, also a member of that team. So you've got 3 team drivers out front. That's going to be your best friend as far as these draft battles starting to develop. Behind Donald Stewart, you got Matthew Curry, Jose Medina, William Lothar, Derek Fulton, James Kaufman. Those are, I believe, our remaining drivers in the lead lap. So with our 3rd caution, 3 to go, a pretty good night of running from everybody. But if there was ever a time you're going to see calamity on the racetrack, it is going to be now. 3 to go. Points are on the line for the season championship. Every driver is vying for that top spot. Now, to be fair, if Lee, McCullough Jr., and Stewart can go 1, 2, 3 with the team cars, they will be ecstatic as well. Here we go. Pace cars coming around. We're going to lead them by that backstretch one more time as they form up double file. It will be an absolute shootout here at Daytona International Speedway. I'm expecting hopefully good clean run here to the end, but never discount somebody trying to make a move going through 3 or 4 or the trial of that last lap. All these drivers can try to make something happen. I'm expecting we're going to see the 3 drivers form up single file and do whatever they can to push one of their cars to the front. I'm excited, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you are too. It's going to be a good one here at the FEG Cup Series. Every Wednesday, we'll be here live. Hope to see you there. If not on the track, maybe just watching. All right, pace car is in. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. 04 of Matthew Lee. He tips out front. He's got Kenneth McCullough Jr. right behind him. Then Donald Stewart's going to be sitting in 3rd, so that's 1, 2, and 3 for the team cars. Stewart currently on blocking duty, it looks like. They get that inside line working. They should be able to check out. It's 2 to go. We get the outside line. Looks like it's starting to form up. They've got a 4-car pack. That inside line's going to have to tighten up and make something happen. That's going to be Kenneth McCullough Jr. He's running the outside. Donald Stewart goes, lets him. I'm not quite sure what just happened. Maybe McCullough Jr. was trying to block the run at the high line. I think that's what he's doing. It looks like McCullough Jr. is on blocking duty. He's slowing down every run he possibly can. We're the white flag. We're going to come around one more time at Daytona International Speedway. McCullough's earning that team paycheck. He's using every lane here available at Daytona International Speedway. They're stacking up behind him. I think he's killed the drive. I think Lee's going to be able to make it happen here. He is. That's going to be 1, 2, and 3 for the team cars unless there's a crash right here in the last section. But it's looking good for Lee, Stewart, McCullough Jr. 51 gets edged. He gets bumped. Checkered flag is flying. It is 1, 2, 3 for the team. Matthew Lee up front. Donald Stewart second. Kenneth McCullough Jr. Spectacular racing. Good team driving there. Man, I don't know how the drivers feel, but my heart rate is up after watching that one. Major ups to all of our drivers are keeping it clean. That last section, that was textbook. All right, so we're going to watch Kenneth McCullough Jr. Excuse me, we're going to watch Matthew Lee circling around here. But, man, very good, clean racing all the way around. We're going to watch Matthew Lee 2 in a row. Can the man be beat? He is on an absolute dominant streak here so far. We're going to get third-place finisher Kenneth McCullough Jr. in the booth tonight. Kenneth, do you read me?
I got you.
Kenneth, that was some spectacular Earnhardt driving we saw there. You made that car 2, 3, 4 lanes wide at one point. How happy are you to be finishing where you're at?
Yeah, I'm glad. Glad to get a top 3. I was hoping my teammate there, Donald, would have jumped out just a little bit earlier. I think we could have got around Matt there at the end.
Yeah, great driving. I mean, were you guys communicating that entire time, trying to figure out pit cycles? And how much did that yellow flag kind of save you there mid-run to get back up there with the pack?
And I was praying for a caution. I was glad to see it come, at least have a shot at it there at the end.
Oh, awesome, Kenneth. You rode great. One of my favorite Georgia drivers here in the series. Anybody you want to thank before we let you go?
Well, thank you for doing the broadcast, and thank Jeff for everything he does.
Well, we're very glad to, Kenneth. We'll see you next week. We hope that streak continues for you, man.
Mother.
Up next, we've got second-place finisher Donald Stewart. Had a great run tonight. Donald, do you read me?
Sure, I have you.
Donald, you ran great, man. You're working hard with Matthew Lee that entire way around. That caution kind of brought everything back together, but how did it go from your point of view?
Yeah, it was going really good. Me and Matthew, yeah, we were working together when we got that little breakaway there, and I messed up my pit stall and speeding by 1 mile an hour over. Got a 40-second penalty. Got a lap down, almost a lap down, and luckily when I came out in front of Matt, and he helped me out, keep me there in front of him, and then the caution came out and got me back on the lead lap. So I owe a big thank you to Matthew and Kenneth for all the help they did for me tonight.
Yeah, great group of drivers out here tonight. You're really glad to see it. Mr. Stewart, before I let you go, anybody you want to thank?
I thank Kenneth McCullough and Matt for working with me tonight and kind of taking me under their wing, and Jeffrey for everything he does behind the scenes for putting these on, and you for broadcasting. Great broadcast. I love watching it after the race.
Well, very glad to, Donald. We hope your good luck continues. We hope to see you on the podium next week as well.
Thank you, James. Y'all have a good night.
You as well, sir. Up next, 2 in a row. Can he be beat? Matthew Lee. Matthew, do you read me?
I got you, bud.
Matthew, great draft partnership all night. We saw you try and keep your teammate Donald Stewart just ahead of you. When that caution came out, kind of saved his night, and I believe Stewart and McCullough kind of paid you back there at the end.
Yeah, they definitely tried to get back to me and make runs at me, but the air bubble here and staying in front of people, it's kind of, you just got to know how to use it to your advantage. And I was kind of waiting for the guys at the back of the pack to get together there and make a run at us, but it seemed like they were too busy racing each other in my mirror.
Yeah, that's what we saw from up here in the broadcast booth. Everybody did a surprisingly good job keeping it clean. A few good hard bump drafts, and nobody got too unsettled. Are you pretty happy with how the things shaked out with the yellow flag, or did you get a little bit worried when that field started getting stacked up again?
I didn't want to see the caution flag because we were sitting pretty, but with these cars, it seems like you can control the front of the field pretty well when you get out there. Unless you've got some guys that are really good at side drafting and can work together behind you.
Well, Matthew, it was a lot of fun. We'll see if you can keep your win streak up next week. You should have a pretty resounding points lead at this point. But before we let you go, anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, just got to thank all the guys at CGE, Martin Sports, Shenandoah Shine, GTR Simulators, and Mckeithen Setup Shop. You guys for the broadcast again. Jeff for putting this on. Bunch of fun.
Awesome. We look forward to seeing you next week, and we'll see if we can keep that dominant performance up, Matthew.
Yeah, we're going to try.
All right, that's going to bring us home. We've got Matthew Lee 2 in a row leading and winning Daytona on the doubleheader showdown here at the FEG PC Cup League. You got Donald Stewart in second, Kenneth McCullough Jr. third, Derek Fulton in fourth, and then Matthew Curry is going to round out our top 5. Great racing from everybody tonight. Been an absolute pleasure to broadcast on behalf of Team Goon Squad Broadcasting. Also, thanks to our friends over at Phantom Graphics for supporting the series, as well as FEGPC.net, leading provider of simulator desktops and hardware that you need to be out there racing, flying, whatever it is for your gaming needs. FEG PC will have you covered. On behalf